Guys, we're about to start. Can you hear me? Thumbs up? Yeah, okay, great. Excellent. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. Today, we're going to do a nice tour of the of our PLAD Homes exhibit here in Dania Beach and Fort Lauderdale area, 10 minutes from the airport. And we got my co-host here, Eduardo Kalb, with us and his team as well. Thank you. And we're going to, the first step is actually going to be to show you around the house, kind of give you a little bit of a visit, okay? So just so you have an idea, the most amazing thing is that these two homes here have both been shipped. Imagine these two houses were shipped in one 40-foot container, okay? And what's amazing is when it arrives, this is the width of the house. So it's 8 feet, and these walls come folded inwards, okay? And the walls go in, and so we can fit this entire house into one 20-foot container, HQ, or we can fit these two houses into one 40-foot HQ. So shipping around the world is very easy. Shipping around the US makes it very simple. And what's amazing is that the house is entirely made of steel. Now we put this pitch roof. This pitch roof is just an example for us to, for us to have cold climates if you have, or if you want it to look more, traditional versus the rooftop that we have right there. But in this case, this house has a pitch roof. It's a small little addition and allows for snow loads, so good for cold climates. You can also put solar panels on there. And as we make our way through, we have a couple of really cool features, which I'm going to show you. One of them is actually our water generator. So this machine is going to be hooked up. We're going to be setting it up in our showroom in Naples in a few months. And what it is it's basically a generator that sits outside and could produce up to 50 gallons of water per day just by the humidity in the air. So imagine off-grid opportunities. If you're in an area where you don't have access to a water well, there it is, and very good for areas where water is scarce, in developing countries as well. So this is the house when it gets installed. Now the foundation we have different foundation types. First of all, just so you know, everything hooks up kind of like an RV. So you've got your electrical that hooks up right there. You have your water line right down there. You can hook up the septic or city water, and then you also have, your gray water drain. Okay. The house comes with 2 mini splits. If you all stick around, Eduardo's going to go through the financing to tell you how he could finance this house for you with very little money down and an amazing interest rate. So you can own this home very easily, very quickly. One of the options is this is wood. These are wood pilings. So for those of you that that are in areas that don't require tie downs, you have wood pilings as an option right here. Okay. So this foundation was created in one day. Now, here's the beauty, guys. Are you ready to hear this? This is the best part. These two homes right here, this house took about 2 weeks to install because we're taking our time and wanted to document every stage here in Florida. And this house here took us 4 hours to build. So if you stick around, I'm going to show you inside. But first, before I do that, I'm going to show you a little bit about other foundation types. So here you have something called a steel screw pile. And these are common in areas like Florida, where you have to have high velocity hurricane zones and tie down. So this house actually surpasses 185 mile per hour wind loads. And as you could see, it's a steel screw pile. It goes up to 6 feet. We couldn't put it deeper because after 4 feet, we're actually hitting water. And so we have here a steel beam that sits right on top of the screw pile, and you create your tie down that way. So we bolt it from the bottom of the screw pile into the H-beam and then to the bottom of the house. There is no utilities at the bottom of the house, okay? So, which is amazing because one of the biggest challenges that we have in areas that our land is not leveled, we can actually build this home on any uneven surface. So I could be in the mountain, I could be in Tennessee, in the Rocky Mountains. It doesn't matter. I can set this up in any uneven surface, and I don't have to level the land. I save more than 50% of my land development costs because I can build on any uneven surface. So we got a water boiler that's optional to put out here, or you could put it inside. Very energy efficient. The entire house runs on a 30 amp breaker, which makes it extremely, extremely energy efficient. And then, as you can see here, we meet all of the, I don't know, it's a little hard to see, but all the Miami-Dade code standards. We are working on updating our high velocity hurricane zone with the new code. But right now, this house is approved to build everywhere in the United States, with the exception of Miami-Dade and Broward, parts of Broward. And we'll have that in a few months when we update our testing. So we have ASTM International, American Iron and Steel Institute. We did our test, laboratory test, Intertech, and Florida Building Code as well. And then as you see here, here's a little bit more about your soundproofing, more than 60 decibel, service life, 50 years tested, but it will last you over 100 years. This house made of steel is better than concrete, better than a stick build. So don't let anyone fool you and tell you that steel is not as good as concrete, okay? We'll go into reasons for that after, or you could watch our other webinar. But basically, you have a fire resistance, starts at 30 minutes, it goes up to 60 minutes. Seismic resistance of grade 9, and like I said, resistance of 185 mile per hour wind loads. So we're gonna make our way right here. This house was actually painted for a client. It originally was white, but we had a client that wanted it black, so he wanted to see what it would look like. So we went ahead and painted it. We did this temporary stairs to create a rooftop setting. So you actually literally double your space with the rooftop, which makes it amazing for areas with low density where you don't have a lot of backyard space, things like that. So you have the opportunity to, you could have a barbecue, have a little play area for the kids to play soccer, whatever it is. Again, great for affordable housing, government opportunities, also Airbnb. Now, as a sample, we actually listed this house on Airbnb. We received over 25 bookings in like a week at over $200 a night. So we retail this house between $150,000 to $200,000 for those asking for price. And it's the only item we retail. All of our other products we have to buy through our builder network. So this is the home, okay? Very spacious. This is our original model. Our new model, this area will be the kitchen. So we'll go into that later if you want. But basically, you have an option here for bugs, right? So you see here, I can close this amazing screen. And all my windows and doors are obviously impact windows and doors, okay? And when the house arrives, I'm going to show you just here. You see where our doors are impact doors, very solid, very, very solidly built. Okay. Now, this kitchen arrived completed. This is granite countertops. We had this whole space already installed. And so when it ships, remember this middle area is all prefabricated. So when you receive the home, this section right here is done. And you have also the bathroom completely done. So you don't have to build anything. It literally takes a few hours to build this house, with one of our PLAD certified builders. Or you could do it yourself. But basically you have a shower here. Notice something, that the floor is the same floor in the shower as it is in the entire house, because we use SPC flooring, so you're never gonna have a problem with the flooring being affected by even if you have like sitting water under the house, which is common in Florida, you're not gonna have buckling. This is all one piece, and because it's SPC, it's much better than vinyl. It's waterproof and best for the best conditions. So one thing that I love about these walls is we don't use any sheetrock. Sheetrock is something of the past, okay? We live in the future and we act on the future. These wall panels are made of bamboo fiberboard, the best interior materials that you can have in a house. The reason why we use bamboo fiberboard is we will never have a problem with moisture. We'll never have a problem with leaks. You'll never have leaks because this roof is actually, the roof that sits above here is all steel. Okay. Now, because we use panelized systems, you're going to have a crease here, but you can cover it with a wall cladding, which I'll get to in a moment. And of course, our framing is all made of steel. Okay. It's all steel, top grade. The entire house is cold form steel. And then you have a separation here for the first bedroom. You have a closet that's shared with the other space. So this closet is for this area, and that closet over there is for the other area, the other room. You have a window, so every area comes with a window. You have a little desk, and then you have the master bedroom. Now, very spacious. Our new model, upgraded model, has 10-foot ceilings, so it goes a lot higher than this, making it very grand when you come in. And so you have your window there as well. You have another window, and then your closet space, like I mentioned. So doors, very solid doors, okay? Now, how does this compare to some of these Amazon luxury sheds? We have a printout of it in our brochure, but basically, the question you need to first ask yourself is, what is the weight of the house? The ones you see on Amazon that sell for $30,000, those are 2,000 pounds. This house is 13,000 pounds. So you have 6 times the amount of steel that sits in this house. So you should be paying at least 6 times more, but the big difference here is that we've got insulation, we've got our soundproofing. The ones you see on Amazon, one little hurricane, and that shed is gonna fly away, out of your backyard, probably into the neighborhood. So here you see your separation, because this is where the wall folds up. So we put here rubber for now because this is a temporary solution. If I want to create a permanent solution, then I would put a steel piece here, steel separation. Okay. So there's 2 options with these homes. We can have them set permanently, like I said, and then we would properly seal these gaps. You see, we left them open here. Or we can create a temporary solution, and we can actually sit this house on wheels. I can take the center section here and have it sitting on a trailer. And if I want to have it temporary, if I don't want to have it permanent, or go be in areas where I don't need to have permits and that can have a trailer, I can sit this on a trailer. So you really have both options. All right, so we're going to jump to Eduardo, who's going to talk a little bit about, well, actually, before we jump to Eduardo, questions about the house while I'm touring the house. Let's do that. And then Eduardo will go into the financing as to showing you how you could buy one of these right now and own them in a couple of weeks. Go ahead. Let's open up for questions. Give me a second. If you can raise up your hand, we can. 1 second. Okay. If anybody wants to unmute, you can go ahead and ask a question while I'm here. If you want to see anything.
Hi. I have a question. It's Sean Portier. What's the load capacity for a building on the 2nd story? Is that just for like light stuff, or like can it?
Right. So at the moment, the load capacity is equivalent to the weight of the house. It's about, we could put over 10,000 pounds on the roof. So we could technically stack one of these on top of the other, but we don't do it with this model. We haven't done it yet with this model. We actually have a different model, which is our Aura series. You can go see it on our YouTube channel, and that you could stack up to 3 stories. So typically, the way it works is that we have 2,000 pounds roof load for every 160 square feet. So for every 8 by 20 area, you can put about 2,000 pounds of load.
And just the aesthetics, like when I looked at the foundation, they don't look that solid. Like just the 2 pins holding on the rail. You said it's all been rated and it's even stronger than a traditional foundation, or something to that effect. Could you explain that a little more?
Yes. So basically, the foundation is this house was tested in a laboratory to surpass 185 mile per hour wind loads. So you by creating the tie downs that we had right here, okay, the steel tie downs to the house, this house will not go anywhere in a
Right.
hurricane. It'll stay right here because of the tie downs. So those tie downs have been tested
Okay.
in a laboratory setting with Intertech, which is an international laboratory, and we have certification to certification as well on these steel screw piles for those windows. Same thing with
Okay. And how
with
about
the
this?
house. So the wall panels undergo a missile test. So we do missile tests as well as part of the wind requirements.
Okay. Now, when it comes to comps, like in real estate appraising, do these comp out as a standalone unit or as an actual residential structure or a mobile?
So great question, Eduardo. You
How
want to
do we?
answer that question? So it's considered steel modular, but Eduardo, when it comes to financing these homes, do these finance the same as a traditional CBS construction, less or better?
Yeah, well, basically they're classified as single family. So most of the majority of the loans that we do offer do appraisals based on the definition is still modular, but they are classified as single family for in financing purposes. So you're getting the same terms and conditions. You follow a similar procedure in terms of how they look at comps and how they value the properties. It's just, we do standard appraisals both for conventional loans and government loans. So we'll do the conventional loan, the VA loan, the FHA loan. Every appraiser conforms, so the units conform to those standards. So basically, they are classified as steel modular, but they are subject to the same terms and conditions as conventional single-family loans, single-family properties for each of the loan programs that we offer.
Yeah, so these homes have been, the steel modular has been around for 130 years. The reason why steel homes are not so popular in the United States is because they're too expensive. Steel is more expensive than wood and concrete. So in China, we buy steel as a commodity cheaper. I spend less money on steel than I do on wood. So I'm able to buy the best building material. And when it comes to insurance and mortgages, if you have a steel roof and you don't have any wood, you're not gonna have termites, you're not gonna have pests. So this is the stuff that financing insurance loves to see. And then here are some different cladding options as well that we can dress up the walls with to give you different type of styles and looks, cladding. Go ahead.
I was gonna. Do you have any experience of people buying land, putting these on, and then selling the home outright, and how they comp out to regular module, and then like what's the price?
Well, I can give you.
Add that
yeah,
up.
yeah. So I could give you that information with other steel modular companies that have sold, but PLAD only got certified 2 months ago. So we're now starting to take orders, and we're very soon going to have that situation of customers selling. We actually already have builders that have sold, hundreds of homes, and Miami-Dade purchased 150 of these for the homeless trust. We're now just figuring out right now, just updating the high velocity hurricane zone testing, but they've selected PLAD to be the housing option for their project in Homestead to try to resolve homelessness.
Great.
Okay, we're going to go, Eduardo, we're going to jump into your presentation for the financing of these homes, and then we'll take more questions about the house if you need or about the financing.
Sure. Hold on. Well, thank you, Eddie. Thank you for the opportunity. Give me a second. Let me just put the presentation on. Okay, so basically we're a mortgage lender and a mortgage broker. So we're a hybrid mortgage company that finances residential and commercial properties in Florida, California, and Texas. We've been financing residential and commercial properties for over 20 years. Florida has been our main market. The longest period of time where we've done business in has been in Florida. So we've been in Florida for about 20 years. We've been in Texas for about 8 to 10 years, and we've been in California for 2.5. And basically, why you ask? Well, we have the best technology. We have experience, as I mentioned. We have great communication, and more importantly, we have a great process. A great process that when Ellie came to me and showed me the idea of steel modular homes, we needed to find a way to see if his homes would be able to be financeable. So did we have the lenders, the loan programs, the terms and conditions that were needed to be able to finance these homes in a fast and efficient manner? Now, these homes get built quickly. These homes get sold faster than what you normally see on a single family or a condominium. So we needed to really have a streamlined process to be able to, underwrite a loan, at double the speed at what you normally would see at a single family home. So we've designed and built the process around the requirements that Eli has for his homes and his financing, and we've been successful at doing so. So we've implemented different strategies and different processes to be able to meet those demands, as well as loan programs. So what we did is that we expanded the platform to make sure to say, okay, this is the product, these is the markets we're selling to, these are the type of borrowers that we have. Can you or do you have a product to be able to fill, the requirements of every borrower? So we've accomplished that, and we've implemented all those changes. Our team in Florida, the specialist for PLAD Homes and Steel Modular Homes, is Lucas Manambio, who is a financial analyst and also licensed loan originator, and myself. In Texas, it's Mariby Garcia, who coordinates and manages the Texas team, is very well aware of the product and the requirements and the origination of the product. Well, we have mortgage rates. Why Florida? Basically, this is what we do. Now, we had an example, and if you give me a second, and I'll put the example in a second. We had an example of three different types of homes that we would be able to show. Hold on for a second. Give me just a second. 1 second.
What's amazing about the Kalb Advisors is they can go ahead and finance not just the home but the land itself as well.
Correct.
So if there's a land opportunity, you can go ahead and buy it. One big thing you can do is also look into RV parks, because there are RV parks that are selling individual pads, and you could buy those pads with all the utilities already done. So then you bring this house to the pad, you plug and play, and now you have a rental, and you're making over 20% return. So the numbers are incredible. It's better than it's basically better than going ahead and trying to buy in the real estate market right now. That's just been crazy.
Correct, Eli. And then basically, the financing, what we've done is giving you three examples. So if you're a builder and you want to build, you have a land, you want to purchase the land, and you want to build these homes, then we'll finance the loan acquisition, the land acquisition, as well as the construction for these properties. We can go up to 100 properties if you needed to. So maybe even more than 100, depending on the type of project. But we'll finance the purchase as well as the construction, and we'll go up to 90% loan to cost. Now, for the construction period and the land acquisition, we'll go from anywhere from 12 to 24 months, which is way more than enough time that you actually need to be able to do the construction on these type of projects. And the interest rates are competitive, very competitive for these types of loans, and they range from 9.5% to 11%. Very straightforward. We know the product inside out, so basically we just look at the land and we do an appraisal based on the market where you're going to be able to do the construction on these units, and then in a couple of weeks, we determine the loan amount, underwrite the loan, and get ready to close so that you can start construction. Basically, it's a very streamlined and easy process if you're a builder wanting to get a loan for the purchase and development of these lands. Now, once you finish construction, Now, there's two options. You could either rent the units and then take your existing loan from a construction to a permanent loan, or we can sell the individual units as retail to the end user. Now, if we're going to sell these units as retail, for example, as single families or investment properties, if you're buying the unit to live there, for example, you're buying the Omni model, which is around $150,000 at a retail price, and you have the ability to apply for three different types of loans. If you need down payment assistance, if we can do a government loan for first-time home buyers. If you're a veteran or in the military, we can do a VA loan for you at 100% financing. We can even do a conventional loan for a primary residence at 97% financing. So it's a very flexible loan program if you are going to use the property for a primary home. Now you could use it as a second home, vacation property, or even an investment property where you would rent out and lease either short-term or long-term. We'd be able to do a loan. Now, for investment loans, you're looking at down payments a little higher. You're looking at a down payment between a 20 or 25% down payment on investment properties. So basically, that's the option. Now, at $150,000 purchase, you're looking at payments that range between $800 and $1,000 a month. So basically, when you're determining whether the payments make sense, definitely very competitive product. You're able to get the best rates in the market on the residential level.
Yeah, to put that into perspective, actually, if you're paying $800 a month for a house like this, yeah, there's an RV park I just saw in South Dakota, and the rent in that area is $2,500 a month for a house this size, like for a house like this, $2,200 maybe, $2,250 to $2,500. So you put out $800 a month, and you now have over $1,200 or $1,400 of profit.
I have a question. How much are the taxes for these types of properties?
So that's a great question. So here's the beauty: when you're buying from me as a manufacturer, you're buying components, you're buying parts. So you're actually you get a full tax deduction. So if you're paying $150,000, you get $150,000 write-off. Just like when you buy an RV, you get a write-off because an RV is the full write-off. In this case, it's just as if you were to buy panels in Home Depot and build your own house and put it together. You are buying materials, and so the materials is fully depreciable, and so you can get a tax deduction. So even though you buy this house for $150,000 and finance and maybe put 20% down, let's say you put $20,000 or $30,000 down, you get a full $150,000 tax write-off. Now, property taxes, if you're going to zone this in your local area and you're going to install it, your property taxes will be equivalent to a percentage of the market value in that area. So if the market value is considered $150,000, you're going to be paying, usually it's about in the South Florida, it's around 2% of the city value. So you'll be paying 2% of $150,000.
$3,000.
Correct.
A year.
Correct.
More or less.
Yeah, more or less.
Again, and the insurance, how much will be the homeowner insurance, the annual premium for a property, let's say $150,000?
Eduardo, you want to help answer that?
Yeah, sure. We'll treat them with all the discounts that homeowners insurance companies give out, Mariby, because these homes, what we're doing with these homes is we're taking advantage of how they're built and all of the certifications that they have to be able to get, all available discounts that these insurance companies offer.
Right, so and Eduardo, the two biggest are impact windows and doors for hurricane, and then we got a steel roof. Is there any other discounts?
No, those two are the biggies. Those two are the big discounts, and for a property of 150, you're looking at homeowners insurance of around between $1,500 and $2,000 max in Florida, and $1,000.
But a wind insurance or something additional is requested.
Yeah, just hazard and flood. No, just hazard with wind you have to
With
have,
winds and
yeah.
flood.
Well, if you're in a flood zone, you're gonna have to get some flood.
Yeah, a lot of the areas have been updated for flood zones. So you're gonna have, a lot of areas in Broward, for example. So you may need to have flood insurance. But again, it's so minimal because these houses require so little maintenance. I can have the water sitting up to here. Okay. First of all, we can build these on steel screw piles above flood zone area. So that's resolved.
But my
But
question is, why are you saying that the property taxes are 2%? That's not too high.
it
Well,
depends the area you're in. It's up to 2%. It depends which county you're in. Every county is different.
No, I know, but normally in Florida, it's difficult to see 2%.
yeah, you're looking. Well, we'll look at the county. Just use Miami-Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach. Depending on the area, we'll just do the normal estimate that we do, and we'll determine taxes based on county and city. So
Yeah.
normally, yeah, they'll range between 1% and 2% in Florida, and then obviously in Texas, they'll range between 1.75 and 2.75%. So in order for us to calculate the estimates on a mortgage, we'll use regular, county and state taxes to determine property taxes at the time that we do the estimates and set up the escrow accounts and everything else. So yeah. Then on the model, on the Eco 8, which is a larger model, the purchase price is $320,000. You're looking at payments between $2,000 and $2,100. So very affordable as compared to the same type of square footage when you look at a single family home, or actually just a regular manufactured home. So again, with the same programs, FHA, VA, conventional. There's other loan programs, portfolio loan programs that we use for investment properties, but I didn't mention them here. But they all fall into the range of 20 or 25% down, with the rates ranging between 7 and 8% for investment properties. And then, anything that you guys need, please contact us. Any questions regarding financing, we're happy to help. As I said, these homes are easy to finance. Definitely something that is not a problem when you purchase a home, a modular steel home from Ellie. So either if you're a builder or if you're just a retail consumer wanting to live in the property or buy the property once it's built and rent it out, we could do the loan programs for you either way.
So, can you tell us, Eduardo, how they can start applying for these loans? What is the process? I mean, is there a website that they could fill out a form to see what they're qualified for? What would be the process?
Sure. We have the website, which is www.kalbadvisors.com. And then, we have a link that you use to be able to access the online application. We send you a secure Dropbox link to be able to upload documents. It's all automated. It takes 24 hours to pre-approve a loan once we receive the documentation. And then we send that pre-approval to Ellie so that Ellie knows that you've been pre-approved. And we set the terms and conditions. We give Ellie the details, and then you're able to move forward with the process immediately. If you're going to use one of the 3 loan programs that I mentioned, either it's the conventional loan, FHA loan, and the VA loan, we normally take a couple of weeks to be able to order an appraisal, go through underwriting, approve, and close the loan. So we normally want a 30-day contract to be able to give us enough time and flexibility to be able to underwrite with enough time to be able to answer all the questions, go through the process, and make it so that it's smooth and effective. Now, if we need to close in a couple of weeks, which is sometimes the case with modular homes, we can. Our average is around 2 weeks for these loan programs. If you're going to use it as an investment property, normally takes like 3 to 5 business days longer, just because it's more of a manual underwrite that we use. So it'll take around 2 to 3 weeks to be able to close on an investment property. If you're a builder, then the process of application is a little bit different. You're not going to go into the website. Well, you can go into the website and look and review and look at the application, but you're going to contact us directly, and we're going to work a proposal for you, because the construction loan part is a more involved process, and it requires a team of people reviewing and analyzing your objectives, your budget, the cost of the land, the market. So we'll be able to assess whether or not your construction budget is viable in a matter of 48 to 72 hours. So it takes us a couple of additional days to be able to analyze a builder's application for a construction loan. Now, let's say that you are, just an investor. You're not a builder. You don't have experience. You want to build. You want to do construction. You found a lot, and you tell us, "Hey, I want to do construction on one of these PLAD homes." So we'll do the same procedure. We'll call us directly. Then we'll look at what your idea is. We'll look at the budget. We'll look at some numbers. We'll run some numbers and give you a construction loan proposal. Now, if you're going to build a house for yourself, you can too. You're going to do a construction loan with us, but we just have to follow a different process. So, basically, there's two ways to apply for a loan. The easier of ways is if you're going to buy a unit for yourself, already built, and that's where you go into the website, you access the link, or you give us a call and we'll help you through the process. It's very easy. Or if you're a builder, like I said, you call us in and we bring in our team, and then we'll analyze the project with you, look at the numbers, look at cash flow, and determine what the best loan type and amount and terms are for that specific project.
And if you're a builder, we can also we have a PLAD certification course. It's $199 sign-up fee, and basically we give you a 2-day course on becoming PLAD certified to learn how to build our modular systems. So we go through every detail of how it's built and how it's done, and how to put it together, and how to start building these homes for your local community.
Okay.